Which Chicago Bears player is under the most pressure for this upcoming season? Let's talk about it, people. What is going on, y'all? Fast Sports Talk back at it with another video talking some NFL here to talk about the Chicago Bears. You see the topic. Before I get into it, if you guys are new to the channel, please hit that subscribe button, folks. It helps me out a lot. When you do so, make sure you hit the bell icon as well so you're notified every time I drop a new video. All right, so let's get into this, people. There's a lot of directions I could have gone in terms of the player with the most pressure. But one direction I'm definitely not going is with Caleb Williams, because technically speaking, you could say he's got the most pressure being a quarterback, being the #1 overall pick, walking into a city that's never had really a franchise quarterback. You get my point. We're not going that direction. Instead, we're taking a look at guys that essentially it's time to put up or shut up. They got to perform this season or their career in Chicago is finito. It's done. All right, so that's really what I'm looking at here. And I got 3 names for you. 3 names, all right? We'll start with the third one and work our way up to number 1. And by the way, that's in order, as in that number 1 player I reveal will have, to me, the most pressure. So at number 3, we got Braxton Jones, left tackle for the Chicago Bears. Braxton Jones last season was hurt. We get that, all right? The reason I have him on this list is not because, oh, he got hurt, so all of a sudden I'm labeling him injury prone. No, the reason I have him on this list is Braxton Jones is good, but is he good enough? Because when we're talking about the offensive line, we're talking about, you know, the unit that everything kind of flows from. I told you this before, like, if the offensive line goes south for the Chicago Bears, that screws everything up, especially the development of Caleb Williams, right? When we're talking about a young quarterback that is trying to learn his rhythm, his cadence, his timing, everything he's trying to learn in his first year, if he doesn't get the right protection, that's a problem. And Braxton Jones, playing one of the most important positions, is going to have a microscope on him because Ryan Poles is going to think, can I upgrade this guy if he does not perform? And again, he's good, but is he good enough? That's the question. Ideally, obviously, you want Pro Bowlers everywhere, right? And we did kind of draft his replacement in this year's draft in Kieran Amegadjie. Like, it wasn't a 7th round pick, folks. It was a 3rd round pick. So if Braxton does not perform, does not play up to par, if he's hurt again, you got a clear guy that can step in and potentially take his spot. So that's why I believe he's under a lot of pressure for the season. He's still at 3. Let's talk about number 2, Vas Jones Jr., who should be turning 35 years old this year. Obviously, that's a joke, folks. Don't take that seriously, but you get my point here. Vas, ever since he's been in Chicago, we knew, yeah, that was a spotty pick. Ryan Poles, I love you. Bears fans love you, but that was a terrible pick. And essentially, Ryan Poles has fixed that mistake, so we're good with it because our receiving core is fantastic, and we don't need Vas Jones Jr. to play receiver. But essentially this year, if he does not perform, he shouldn't be on the roster. In fact, he might not even make the 53, right? Because clearly as a receiver, he's not getting the job done. But as a returner, is he getting the job done? DeAndre Carter got signed. He could make the 53. Better returner than Vas Jones Jr. So he's under a lot of pressure, man. Like, in 2 seasons with the Bears, 21 targets, 11 receptions. He's a better running back than a receiver, folks. Like, no joke. So at this point with Vas Jones Jr., I'm actually done with the experiment. I would not keep Vas anymore, but he has a chance to prove me and a lot of other people wrong if he's able to become a competent return man, because that's the only place he can make an impact right now, which is special teams. So Vas, let's clean things up. Let's not have any muff punts. Let's not have any mistakes on special teams. Let's get the job done and use your best trait, which is your speed and your explosiveness. Number 2, Vas Jones Jr. And finally, number 1, I got another offensive lineman, Nate Davis. Nate Davis, the right guard. And the reason I put Nate Davis here at number 1 is because, look, it's easy for me to think, hey, I could move Velus at 1, or, you know, perhaps a running back like Khalil Herbert or somebody else like that, right? The reason I did Nate Davis is because he is a starter, all right, at the offensive line spot at a premier position. The offensive line is way too important for you not to perform. And Nate Davis, your best ability sometimes is your availability. And he does not have that. Missed 6 games last season due to injury and personal reasons. And just when he's been out there, he has not been great. All right, he's been okay. He hasn't been great. And so to me, this is the weak spot on the O-line. All right, I just talked about Braxton Jones, but Braxton has not been the weak spot. He's just been hurt, but he's not been the weak spot. So when our offensive line is fully healthy, you got Braxton, right, for now, Tevin Jenkins, our center spot, Coleman Shelton or Ryan Bates, Nate Davis, and then Darnell Wright. And yes, you could argue center has been the weak spot. Certainly, I agree with you, but I think it'll be upgraded this year for sure. It can't get worse with Ryan Bates or Coleman Shelton. And in turn, right guard will be the weak spot. And so to me, Nate Davis, it's time to put up or shut up, because if you don't perform, guess what? The Bears saved $7.5 million by cutting him. So clear incentive here, folks. Clear incentive for Nate Davis to perform this season. We signed him to a 3-year, $30 million deal last season or the season before that, and like he has not so far played up to that contract. So to me, he is the guy under the most pressure for the Bears this upcoming season. If Nate Davis does not perform, if he stays hurt, he will not be a starter. He will be cut. He will be gone, and we will be looking for a new right guard. So there you have it, folks. My Bears player under the most pressure for this upcoming season, Nate Davis. Let me know what you guys think. Who is your player under the most pressure for the Bears? Leave a comment down below with your thoughts as always. Thanks for watching.